Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of ABCDE, Academia Business Consulting Development Entrepreneurship. It's an honor for me to be the host for Season 2, organized by the team at HR at 8 p.m. The topic today is Pivot to Thrive, Communication Playbook for the New Normal. Today's food for thought is being brought to you by our expert speaker, Anuradha Sharma from Fulki Communications. She'll be introduced by Arijit Chandra Mazumdar, who is well known in HR circles as Arijit Da. He is working as director at NIPM, National Institute of Personnel Management. So time to relax as the weekend begins. Please put your mic on mute and listen. You can post your questions and comments in the chat box. Before I hand over the floor to Arijit Da, I have a question for Anuradha. I am curious to know as to how the name Fulki was decided. I know about Fulka, but how come Fulki? I am very intrigued. Over to Arijit Da to conduct the session. I'll be summing up at the end.
Good evening, everybody. By design or by default, or call it a coincidence or whatever, this evening a Zaverian would be in chat with a Zaverian. That too, both are from Xavier's Calcutta. On our main topic this evening, communication is not something one can perfect even in a lifetime. With every life you start off from where you left off in your previous life. Once you have understood the nuances, it is no more a barrier to the terrain of your communication pilgrimage. Communication, or the meeting of minds across the gap, often just does not take place. Yet, the meeting of minds is essential to understanding. Communication requires no let-down medium for the willing, a nod of the head, a thumbs-up sign, or a frank smile, or a simple thank you can convey volumes of meanings to the receptive. Ladies and gentlemen, I have great pleasure in welcoming Anuradha Sharma. Anuradha is not only a successful communicator rising steadily in the hierarchy, but also had carved for herself a respectable and dignified place in the communication zone of India. Since the inception of Fulki, a full-service brand building and communication agency. While Anuradha has been developing herself as a communication expert and innovative creator of cutting-edge learning tool, Fulki Communication Private Limited has been busy in building brands, transforming organizational culture, and enhancing employee engagement for 75 plus market leaders across the sector through more than 200 successful branding and communication campaign, and to reach 26 million across more than 85 countries. In terms of the portfolio, Fulki has been handling ENSDC, Election Commission of India, FSSAI, that is FSSAI, PepsiCo across the globe, Vistara, Beam Suntory, Mahindra & Mahindra, Philips, United Nations Global Compact Network, to name a few. I would say a truly heterogeneous indeed. In terms of growth trajectory, Fulki Communication has always been with the wind. When the satellite television was conceived by the then Information and Broadcasting Minister, Mr. Basant Sathe, the ticket size of the same envisaged at around 300 to 400 crore INR, which has grown to a whopping almost INR 30,000 crore. To be precisely, it is 28,927 crore as on 2020, thereby registering a growth of 60 to 75% in the second half of 2020. In terms of print media, is expected to add INR 7,500 to 8,600 crore in the second half of 2020, taking a total print ad expenditure to 12,800 to 13,800 crore. Last but not the least, the digital media is expected to grow by 68 to 82% in the latter half of the year compared to first half of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, is absolutely a clearly a win-win situation. Now, will not take much of your time. I'll invite Anuradha to take the floor. This is all for you. Welcome, Anuradha.
Thank you so much, Atul and Indraneel, for inviting me to this forum, and Arijit for your kind words. It's a great pleasure for me to be here in the ABCD forum. It's a wonderful forum which is bringing together people from all walks of life. I'm really excited at this opportunity to talk about a subject I'm really passionate about, which is the design of communication. I set up Fulki a decade ago, 10 years ago, after spending more than 20 years in the corporate world. And at Fulki, we help use creativity and design thinking. We help organizations build their brand among their key stakeholders using innovative communication, learning, and branding tools that spark that magic connect. And that, Atul, actually answers your question, what Fulki means. Fulki means a spark. And I hope my mother-in-law is on this Zoom call because she's the one who came up with this word, Fulki. Fulki derives from Fuljari, and it's that little spark. At our organization, we help the audience and the communication and the brand come together and create that spark and that magic emotional connect. When we were all meeting each other and in everyday normal life a few months ago, it was so easy for people to connect with each other. One could see the body language, the expression on the person's face, how they're feeling, a little coffee chat, a tea chat, connecting over lunch, and mingle with people. But this social interaction and this, this connection, actually, we lost out on it with the COVID pandemic. And when the lockdown happened and we were all confined to our homes, the Fulki team started thinking about how we are going to create this emotional magic connect when we can no longer see each other. I mean, suddenly we were all on Zoom and virtual calls and phone calls and, how are we going to create that connect? We can't even see each other's faces. A few months ago, we used to see each other face to face. Most of the conversations happened like that. And the ratio was skewed toward face to face. We did have some virtual. But with this pandemic, the percentage has changed. And it mostly all virtual. So what we did was that we looked at this entire social interaction and that sort of networking. What was happening in the Zoom and the virtual calls is that people had to relearn earlier, I will say, not in the new normal, in the old normal, when a presenter spoke to his audience in olden days, I will say maybe 5-6 years ago, they used to put on a presentation and talk. People had to relearn how to engage and connect with their audience. So we looked at the tools which were available and we developed forums where we could leverage the tools in Zoom, in Team, and the other platforms which are available, aid this social interaction and the social connection so that people could have that virtual cup of coffee and catch up and talk about. You yourself would have noticed when people come together, like even in our conversation right now, that social interaction is missing. However, when we used to meet face to face, used to hang out, used to come 10 or 15 minutes earlier, a cup of coffee, and then catch up over that coffee, socially interact and net. So we started creating this forum where people could use polls, breakout room, case studies, role plays, activities, and games to come together and connect and create that emotional magic. When we thought about this idea, we were keen to try it out. And we got this opportunity to do a work from home, a fun at work from home session for a team of 20 to 25 people of an organization. When these people came to us with their challenge, they said, we are doing our team meetings, people are coming, we're talking, we're addressing them and, we're talking about it, but it's very dull. And people come and, some of them listen, some of them put off their videos and we don't really know whether they are actually connecting with each other. And when we're doing our one-on-one conversations, we're worried about the engagement. So what we did was that we got them together and we did 4 or 5 fun activities where people shared things which mattered to them a lot. And they talked about their deep feelings with each other. And I'd like to just share some of the things which we did. So here's something which people shared, their favorite snack. And they shared it by actually showing us, putting up a picture and talking to us about why they found this their most favorite snack. Some talked about the fact that no cooking was needed, BJP, Bartan Jharu Pocha, so they didn't have to do any cooking. So they loved the fact that they could just order the brownie and eat it from Theo Brahma. Others said it was a quick breakfast and snack. Someone said my stock is running thin on popcorn, and so on. So it was fun. It created a lot of engagement. Then we did something which was very different again. We actually asked people to describe a habit of their family member that exasperated or irritated them the most during this lockdown. And we got some really interesting answers over there as well. So loud television, no break from office work, and so on. So these sort of activities which we're doing, making the sessions interactive, actually broke that wall which was there and created a social interaction and connectivity and a social intimacy. We found that social intimacy was missing and engagement was missing. We've also used and leveraged these tools since then to do some virtual workshops on other serious organizational issues like boosting productivity while working remotely or acing your virtual presentation. We were very excited as we planned these sessions. I wanted to say that, these are some of the sessions these are some of the issues which we found that people are facing during this time. A lack of productivity due to the lack of attention, the lack of engagement, and the long digital interactions which they had to face on the phone, on video calls, on FaceTime. But I would love to hear some of the issues which you are facing while you are interacting with your teams or your colleagues or your internal and external stakeholders. All of you are practitioners and living with everyday problems. So let's play a word game so we can identify a few more issues. So what you'll have to do is go to, on your phone browser or your laptop browser, go to www.menti.com and use the code 7206984. You'll find this question there. What challenges are you facing while interacting with your teams, colleagues, and other internal and external stakeholders during the new normal? And you could answer this question in 1 or 2 words. You have to type www.menti.com. Here you are. So you can see some of the things which are coming up. Distractions, internet connectivity, very long conversations, fatigue, long calls. And you'll see some of the things which are large, means that more than one person has said the same thing. So very long conversations, annoying boss. Okay, I hope my colleagues have not said that. Weight gain. Okay, I think I can share that problem.
Good food.
Yes, it is perfectly all right. Whatever I wrote, it is there in the screen. Thank you.
Fatigue and tiring seem to be the bigger font. Very interesting, very interesting.
7206,984. 72.
So there's disturbance, there's no boundary of time, long calls, fatigue, tiring, private time is not respected. Yes, so these are, a lot of problems, a lot of issues which we are facing when connecting with our team members. And so, these are some of the issues that everyone is facing, and we realized that there's a critical need to pivot our communication for the next normal to actually deal with these issues. And that's why we thought of coming up with this playbook, a communication playbook to deal with the next normal, which can help us to create or actually work with you practitioners and experts in your area to co-create a playbook that will help us to solve these issues so that we can continue to create that magical emotional connect with our audience even in the next normal. That's how the idea of this playbook came up. So thank you for sharing your feedback, and we're going to use these to create the playbook and deal with these challenges. And, I'll request you, if you have some thoughts on how we can, please do reach out to me and share with me, because it's a wonderful opportunity for me to connect with you. And thank you Atul, Indranil for inviting me here, because it's giving me an opportunity to meet all of you, and it's a learning session for me, because I hope I'm going to learn from you on ways to deal with these issues. When I was talking to my daughter, who's working in a corporate, she said, I'm also being invited to do a lot of training programs. But, and I'm really keen to learn new things. But the programs are very boring. They're monotonous, they're boring. There's someone who just stands up and presents. And I wish, someone could come up with some ideas that would make those sessions more interesting. So we put on our thinking caps and we brainstormed and we said, let's see how we can make this learning fun and engaging. That's when we came up with this idea of using gamification. And gamification to learn, regular things, but also to communicate and learn about very sensitive issues like prevention of sexual harassment, diversity and inclusion. So very sensitive issues. And, this is something which some organizations also reached out to me, some HR friends of mine, that, people are joining in, from the campus. We've never seen. Joining date has come after the lockdown. How do we communicate our policies to them? How do we ensure that people are actually, going to be able to understand those policies and apply them in their everyday life? It's not easy. So we came up with some novel ideas, and I'm going to share with you one of them, which we think has really worked well. We've rolled it out in a couple of organizations over a large employee base, and we've got a really good feedback on these. And I'm excited to share with you one of this, which is using multi-level gamification tools to engage employees in an online program. Let me share a glimpse of this with you. So, we used to use gamification and games to do our learning programs earlier as well. But what we did was that we have transformed it to make it digital and available on all devices, whether it's an iPad, mobile. Is that we've also used and converted this program into Hindi. So it is easy to roll out across the employee base, even among your blue-collar workers. I'd also like to show you a glimpse of what we've done for Posh. which is prevention of sexual harassment, where we have re-engineered it for the new normal by including virtual sexual harassment cases. So, actually when the lockdown happened and we already had a POSH program, which was again gamified, but not a digital gamification. We were using a floor game to do this. I thought that, it's going to become irrelevant, because now that people are not in the physical workplace, why will there ever be sexual harassment in the virtual workplace? But, actually there are several sessions of virtual sexual harassment which are happening. And so we have upgraded our program to include these virtual sexual harassment situations as well. And this is a gamified virtual program. It's online, it's experiential, it's multi-level, gamified, and assessment-based. It's short, quick, it's only 25 minutes. So it's really suited for today's time when people don't want to spend too much time on the digital areas. And we use integrated multimedia tools to accelerate learning and help people learn about these serious issues in an engaging manner, even while having fun. And because they're having fun, and because they're engaged, and because it is captivated, and there's active learning which is happening, the learning is sustained for longer periods of time, and people remember it better. I was mentioning to you, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, that our approach is learner-centric. We put our audience at the center of the initiative or the campaign or the workshop or the meeting, and we tailor-make our solutions and our content, experience, and activities in such a way that it will connect with them. And we craft a program according to the learner's needs. A couple of years ago, and you'll ask me why I'm talking about it at this time, it's because I find that it's still relevant, this situation which I'm talking about. A couple of years ago, we were approached by FSSAI to communicate and educate street hawkers on food safety and hygiene practices. Now, when Mr. Pavan Agarwal got in touch with us, the challenge was a difficult one. It was a tough, but my team, instead of being daunted, they were excited. What happened was that they had run a pilot where they had a 4-hour session to educate the street hawkers. This was really difficult because street hawkers didn't want to leave their place of work, and it was very difficult to also engage first-time learners in a classroom for 4 hours. It was almost impossible. So we took this content and we again re-engineered it, and we created a blockbuster movie where the street hawker became the hero of the movie, and he shared how his life was transformed by attending the FSSAI training program. Let me show you.
भैया जी नमस्कार, हम हैं टुनटुन भटूरे वाले। 10 साल से दिल्ली वालों को अपनी रेडी पर लाजवाब भटूरों का स्वाद चखा रहे हैं जी। हमारे चाहने वाले अब तो हमें टून्स के नाम से जानते हैं भाई साहब, और हमारे स्पेशल भटूरों का नया नाम भी टून्स भटूरे ही है। हमारे ठेले पर भीड़ देखकर सारे रेडी वाले हमसे मन ही मन जलकर राख हो जाते हैं। और भैया जी जले भी क्यों ना, पिछले कुछ महीनों से हमारी सेल लगातार बढ़ती जो जा रही है। अच्छा, जब वो मेम साहब ऑफिस से लौटते हुए अपनी लंबी चौड़ी गाड़ी हमारी रेडी के आगे रोक के हमसे भटूरे पैक करवाती हैं, तो सारे रेडी वाले हमारी ओर देखकर ऐसे चलते हैं कि बस पूछो ना जी। भैया जी अब जरा ये भी बता दूं कि हमारे टून्स भटूरे किसी ऐरे गैरे भटूरे से अलग क्यों हैं। हमारे भटूरों में एक ऐसी चीज है भैया जी जो रेडी पटरी पर बिक रहे खाने पीने के सामान में शायद किसी के पास है ही नहीं, और वो नायाब चीज है स्वच्छता और सफाई। अब भैया जी हम आपको बताते हैं कि हम टुनटुन से ये टून्स भटूरे वाले कैसे बने। इसके लिए हमने फूड सेफ्टी वर्कशॉप में भाग लिया था और वहीं से सीखे थे सफलता के 3 अहम मंत्र। हाँ जी, स्वच्छता, खान पान का रख रखाव और कचरे से निपटना।
So these became our 3 modules, and we were able to crunch that 4-hour program into just 20 minutes. And though we created this program 2 years ago, it is still relevant because people are now able to see this program, this training program on their and it's an online learning and training which is engaging, captivating, and still relevant. With a few changes, yes, we'll have to put a mask and tell people to use sanitizers. So I wonder if I have time to continue.
Yes, please carry on. Yeah. In the meantime, I'll request the audience to keep posting questions in the chat box. Yeah, and I'll continue.
Are there any questions you'd like me to address? Because I'm just loving this session. I'd like to learn from all of you. What are the challenges which you are facing so that we can come up with solutions for these? Because I feel this is like a laboratory for me. It's a learning session. And I'm going to have the opportunity to understand from you what are the challenges, what are some of the things that you have done, and then use these in the communication playbook, which I will share with all of you as well. Another very interesting project which we did recently. This was with Vistara, where they asked us to come up with a solution to communicate to the young, to communicate to young adults the various career options in the aviation industry. Young children believe that the aviation industry career options are limited to air hostesses and to pilots. And they realized there was this gap in people's mind, and there was also a huge skill gap, and they needed people to join this aviation industry. So with this challenge, when they came to us, we came up with a unique solution. We decided to create, and I've got a copy with me here, a graphic storybook, which was like a comic story, where we spoke about the aviation industry and the adventures which a small group of youngsters and experienced when they were traveling on a flight. So the first one was talking about a family which was traveling to Goa, and their experience when they had to book a ticket, and when they enter the airport and they had to check in, and where does the food come from, and why do you have to keep the windows closed, and so on and so forth. So people learned all about these different things by through this entertaining graphic story. The book was such a hit that initially Vistara printed only 500 copies. Then they printed another 1,000, another 3,000, and then 10,000. But then at that point, the children started asking for the next issue. So initial plan was to just have one copy and one issue. But then since then, we've created a series of four of these. And each one is talking about a different facet, like customer facing roles and even international flights, which they undertook recently when the international flights opened up to Singapore and other countries. Since then, we've used these graphic stories very effectively to communicate things like code of conduct, ethics, HR processes, policies, and even in organizations like Mahindra, to cascade their employee value proposition among more than a lakh of employees globally by using real life business stories, which we recreate in these single page graphic stories, which are then shared with people over the intranet and on their portals. So I wanted to share with you that when we face the challenge of coming up with something creative and something different, then we look all around us to see where we can get these ideas from, and whether they are board games or whether they are online games or whether they are comic storybooks. We look at our everyday life and we find that that's like a treasure chest of ideas, and we look at things which we enjoy, and then we find our creative ideas from there. So that's what we're doing even in the new normal, and we hope to do this even in the next normal. So thank you so much.
Okay, now, ladies and gentlemen, I agree that this COVID-19 lockdown has proved to be the wind beneath her wings, empowering her to pivot her business in game-changing ways. Now, one thing is, Funky has emerged stronger, more versatile, with a bouquet of innovating products and services for the next normal. Now, while I would like to get into this question and answer session, the first question I'd like to ask you, what was the turning point of yours?
So actually, when the lockdown happened, and in fact, even a week before the lockdown, I think we were very lucky, because when we heard about the COVID pandemic, we realized that the country may come under lockdown, and so well ahead of time, we shifted our office to the house. And we, my sister works for Harvard, and it was because of her insights and her advice that we did this well before the lockdown. Because we were agile and we were quick, we had enough time to, take backups of our designs and take backup of our software and move our entire office to work from home. I really didn't believe that we will be able to deliver the work and the designs that we have been doing without being next to each other, because I've never done it. And whenever people used to talk to me and say that, why can't you just, allow your team to work from home, or why can't you take a holiday and, manage your work from overseas or wherever, whichever other city you're sitting in. I just, it's not possible. I have to be there right next to my designers, right next to my team. We need to be next to each other. But actually, my team was able to overcome this challenge in ways that even I am amazed. I never imagined. And, I'd like to thank my team members who are here and acknowledge the way they have come together and helped us to overcome it. When we started working from home, we looked at what are some of the things which we are doing, which can be leveraged for the next normal. Everything was becoming virtual, remote, and digital. And as I shared with you, we realized that some of the issues which people are facing are this social isolation, the disconnects. There's a happiness hormone which gets released when you interact with people and you can see them. And, my mother doesn't live with me. She's 85 and she lives in Delhi, and I stay in Gurgaon. And we found that, it was difficult to connect with her. So what we did was, luckily we had bought her a smartphone just before the lockdown. It was coincidence. And she is a role model for me, because someone who didn't even have a smartphone a week before the lockdown started doing WhatsApp calls, video calls. And when we interacted with her, we found that this, happiness hormone was released. And we felt happy. And that gave us the idea to come up with this, with some of the ideas which I have just shared with you about the social interactions, the social connections, being able to connect with each other in breakout rooms and talk about things that matter to you. You can even do these during team meetings. Creating forums and creating situations and creating, looking at ways to connect with each other is very important. So this was one of the things which we did. And the other was we were always interested in training programs, and I am certified in integrated and accelerated learning. And we looked at ways to leverage this strength to to create programs and combine it with this social interactivity, to come up with experiential training programs and workshops. And they're actually working. We have rolled these out in a couple of companies, and the programs are doing so well. And when you see the qualitative feedback, people are so excited at the opportunity to talk to each other and discuss things which are important. And these are things which have actually helped us to pivot. Looking at the challenges, we're looking at the problems, and we're trying to find solutions for it. And actually, this quarter has been really good for us. We are getting amazing feedback from our clients. People are saying that our creative designs are better than they were before the lockdown, and that's like kudos to my team. And we've actually signed up 2 new clients during this time, which was not something which I had ever thought of. But I guess our business development and our activity and goodwill is working. So actually, I look around me and look at the things which I love doing and my hobbies, and I pick up my ideas from there. So whether it is the Phantom and the Superman comics, which I love reading, or their word games, and we've used that very effectively to roll out a really, really huge change management program in an organization. Or for board games. Teams love for board games. Our favorite pastime when we are chilling in the office is to play a board game. And so we've used that to actually roll out a whole bunch of programs and things like values and employee value propositions and change management programs, board games, store games, and now digital and mobile games are being used by us to these. I find that when you combine what you love doing with what your work is, then that line blurs.
Certainly.
That's when creativity happens.
But there is a question again from Priyanka Desai. Is how to conduct engaging virtual onboarding for new employees. How to add value and get positive score on engaging through virtual onboarding.
So Priyanka, I think that the challenge here is that you have a group of people who actually you may not have met, or if you have met, then they met in bubbles and they met part of the team and not all of the team members. And so I think the solution lies in creating programs where people can mingle and connect with each other socially in small groups on virtual forums, and use tools like polls and role plays and case studies and other platforms like the one which we just did, like the word cloud, to get people to interact with each other and get to know them. And it's also, I think also when new people join, one you have to communicate to them is the policies, the company policies. And while I said one of the ways to do it, which is gamification, there are some other tools which we have been using very effectively as well, which is like short explainer videos and highly visual documents, and even e-documents which incorporate all of these. So these are some things which we have been doing.
Right. The question comes up from Subrata Sarkar that he wants to know that his question is basically so much initiatives nowadays are being initiated by all the organizations in this pandemic. Do you think all the initiatives will get sustained after the pandemic gets over? That's an interesting question. Whether it will carry on or there will be again some more changes or going back to the olden days.
I think that the next new normal is going to become the next normal. I don't believe that it's going to go back to the old normal. So more and more people are going to continue. It's going to become it's become a phygital workplace. People are working digitally as well as physically. And more people are actually enjoying the experience of working from home. Organizations are actually seeing the advantage, financial advantage and other advantages of working remotely. And some of these initiatives which are being rolled out, I think will become the way of life. And I think they're here to stay and sustain.
Indranil would like to ask, being into the brand management, what is your suggestions for HR department to brand itself? Why? Is it quite a tricky questions.
I think this is something which I love your question, Indranil.
Yeah.
This is something which really connects with me. You know, I used to lead the Great Place to Work survey and actually help to build the brand in its formative years for employee engagement and the Great Place to Work survey in 2004. That's where I learned what HR is all about. And I believe that HR really needs to talk about the initiatives which they're rolling out and communicate them. We've been working closely with several organizations, and they, as well as we, have found that communication plays a key role in the success of the rollout of their initiatives. And that's what actually creates that HR brand. It's not just a name. It's what you're doing under that umbrella name. And people need to hear what you're doing and be able to connect with it and resonate with it. And that's what's going to help your employees to join you, stay with you, and be engaged with you. And I'll share an example of an organization we worked with last year, where they were doing just landmark things for their employees. They had some of their policies were game changing. They called us. They said that, while we're doing all these things, people don't even have a mindset, against adopting these policies. And many of them don't even know about the policies. In our employee engagement surveys, they talk about the fact that we are not doing anything for them. When we communicated about this, and we used a multidimensional digital campaign to communicate what the organization was doing for its employees, there was a sea change. When we visited their office, people were just talking. There was a buzz happening in the office about the amazing things which the company was doing. And the employee engagement scores also went up dramatically. So I think it's very important for HR to build a brand, and communication is a key way to do it.
I would like to ask you a question. That would you mind sharing with us your success story?
My success story. I'm doing something which I love. So when I set up Fulki 10 years ago, I started from a small garage, and it was a very tough decision for me to actually give up the comfort of a regular salary and take the decision to start my own organization.
Question has come up from Sukhanand Joshi ji. His question is, do you have any work reference for blue-collar employees? Again, it's quite an interesting one.
Sorry, do I have any?
Reference for blue-collar employees.
Yes, we have rolled out several programs for communication programs for blue-collared employees. Is that the question?
What are the effects of that? What were the program content and what were the effect of that?
Okay, so I'll share with you. I just mentioned to you that we have done this program with Mahindra in rolling out the employee value proposition. So when Prince of Mahindra got in touch with us, this was about 8 or 9 years ago, to communicate their RISE behaviors to their employees, we decided to do it through real life business stories and create role models of the employees. So having decided that, we thought that we will roll out 15 stories in a month, and 10 of those were going to be narrative stories, like a paper like this, with a document with a short story in it with a photograph. And we wanted to also create something new and novel. And so we decided that 5 of them are going to be like these comic stories, which I was talking about, which is also done for Vistara. These stories and this communication had to go right down to the grassroots level, to all the blue-collar workers, in fact, across the globe, to more than 1 lakh of people, across countries, across businesses, across sectors. And Mahindra is a large conglomerate with all sorts of people there. So we started off like this, but they found that those graphic story books, graphic stories, one-page graphic stories, were so well received because the people who couldn't read English very well, they were still able to understand the stories because they are highly visual. And so after a quarter, after 3 months, they converted all those 15 stories into graphic stories. And you know, over the years, we have rolled out more than 1,000 stories for Mahindra. And they're all real life stories, they're all business stories. And they are being successfully used to cascade the RISE behaviors. And as I mentioned, they are being used in organizations like Bank of America, PwC, Philips, and other companies to also roll out code of conduct, ethics, processes, policies, and all sorts of things. So that's, we put the learner at the center of our communication and look at how we can connect with those people so that, you know, we see what do they need, what do they want, and how will they understand what we're trying to say. And then we say it in layman terms.
Before we sign off, I would like you to share if you have any failure and which you would like to remember in the days to come. I'm sure in every success story have a counter failure also.
Yes, I know. You know, I believe that life is full of challenges, and at some time or the other, life is going to throw you a curveball. And it's not easy to face these challenges, but one has to. So I've learned to face these challenges by learning from them. And I'll share with you 2 or 3 instances. One of them was quite recent. In one case, we lost a very large account. It was a very important account for us. It was a very large account for us. And it was difficult. It was really challenging to lose it. But what I learned from that is that it's important to have a diversified portfolio and not put all your eggs in one basket. In other case, we were pitching for a large account and we didn't win that account. And that taught me to look at these situations, not from my product's point of view, but actually from the customer point of view. And very recently, when the lockdown happened, I was negotiating with my landlord to reduce the rent. And, you know, he just didn't listen.
Yeah.
I didn't win. So at some point, one needs to say, okay, let's get on with it. So I believe that, you know, you can be like a balloon. And if a challenge comes and it pricks you, there's an explosion, you go puss and you collapse. Or you can be like a squash ball. So that when challenges keep pricking you, you continue to bounce. And you learn from it and you become resilient and you become stronger and you're ready for the next challenge. So failures are a part of life. I think that failure and success are 2 parts of the same coin. And one just learns to, one has to deal with them.
I think the success story was yet to got over. It was still in the garage. Ma'am was about to tell something more, how she reached in that position. So I think it has stopped in between. If she can please, it is my request if she can conclude that part. From courage to current.
Yeah,
so well, so yes, I've learned, you know, that, so yes, we actually started from a garage. When I started my organization, I first started from my bedroom, but it was very difficult. And it was actually my driver who found the garage for us to function from. And that's why I learned, you know, that relationships are very important. And it's important to be, you know, to build these relationships and be generous with them and not have any expectations of return. Because at that time when I was setting up my office, I found that people were coming and helping me from all sides. My driver found the office for me. My husband helped me set it up with all the office furniture. I mentioned to you that my mother-in-law helped me to find the name Fulki.
Oh.
And, you know, so I found that people were coming from everywhere. And my first client was also a good friend, Prince, who actually helped to, help to actually start off Fulki. So there are some success mantras which have helped me. It's also helped me to remember, that you can't do everything on your own. You shouldn't be a superwoman. You have to depend on other people. And it's important to build these networks, not only among your family, but also among your team. And it is because of the support of my family that I am able to wear many hats, whether it's a mother or a daughter or a daughter-in-law, wife, a leader, a coach.
Literally, you had the building blocks one by one, one by one, one by one.
And it's also part of my team, which lets me take out time to do things which I love doing, like traveling and horticulture and spending time with my family. So I believe these are things which have been instrumental in my success. I also believe that when one door closes, another opens. So things like the pandemic is not something which should frighten us. It's a challenge. We should face it. And we should look at ways to leverage our strengths to come out of it. Because we shouldn't be defeated by it.
Wonderful, man.
Right. Thank you very much. It is now over to Atul ji. He has given a lot more time to us, more than an hour. So now I'd like to give it back to him for his final touch-up in this excellent program. Over to you, Atul ji.
Thank you, Arijita, and thanks, Anuradha. Just sum up some, obviously this session's been recorded, can be heard in detail later on. What I picked up definitely was the magic emotional connect. I think that's the very, very key to what you're doing. And it should be an inspiration to all of us to look at that magic emotional connect. And the virtual coffee, using tools to have virtual coffee is amazing. I mean, that's something we all would like to have. And that does create the engagement that you talked about. Then happiness hormone being released from everyday interactions, what your mother did and how she used her mobile phone for WhatsApp connects. And I think we need to have this happiness hormone being released. I think that is what, let's say, a function of any
serotonin
is going to be. And the playbook, I mean, co-creating with the clients, a very important concept and very nice to have. Gamification for POSH, for DNI, for new employee engagement, being learner-centric. These are qualities by which we can reach out with communication to other people, especially in this digital world. Then Street Hawker's blockbuster movie, wow, that was great. I mean, if a hawker can get his hygiene in place, I think even during COVID era, we can have a Golgappa, and that's what we would all like to do. Then everyday lives to leading to creative ideas, very nice way to kind of pick up creativity from things around you. And when you look around, there is that observation bit. And finally, I mean, you really demystified Fulki. And thanks to your mother-in-law for giving such a bright idea. And I wish you that, yeah, kudos to her. And instead of more balloons in your life, I would say, let the sparkles carry on. And I think Fulki means that sparkle. So I think your mother-in-law had a long-term vision for you. And we do hope that you have more and more sparkling eras ahead. As far as what I would like to say about the question about HR in this digital area, I think the HRD was human resources digital. I think that's where the next era is going to be, rather than department is now digital. So it's just a term that's been changed now. So thanks to Arijita for being the moderator on this, and Indranil for doing all the background work. He is amazing at this. And the volunteers of HR at 8 p.m., I wish them all my gratitude. Thank you so much. And last but not least, Anuradha, for giving your time, for your patient a presentation, and with a lot of multimedia thrown in. So that's very good. And finally, for the viewers, I'd like to say, look, we have had food for thought, and now we're going to be food for stomach. So from Fulki to Fulka.
Thank you, ma'am, for a wonderful, presentation. It was so interesting. Everybody you hooked in the presentation, and we do this cloud word clouding, Mentimeter, and all you have applied, and it was very touchy. Your real life story and the way you have. It was not only the presentation, some emotions are also there submerged with the
Emotional
presentation. Has been, it was so well connected. Your thoughts, your expressions, the way the slides and everything. We just feel more than hooked into it. And I'm the one who was willing to keep on listening to you for hours together. So anyway,
Thank you. You're most welcome to call me anytime.
yeah, ma'am. So nice presentation. And I was aware of Fulki also earlier also. Just 1 minute. I was working with Ansel University. We are trying to paint the innovative leaders and entrepreneurs. So I'm always a very feminist type of person. I said, no, women entrepreneurs should be there. So I only identified few names and CEOs from Fulki was one of them. So we are about to paint the picture, just like Sundar Pichai was also there. We were about to paint the picture of those CEOs in our management school floor walls.
Oh my
where
God.
the lobby used to work, and that's why it was very close to me, Fulki, from last 2-3 years when I was working on those. I was the head in charge of institute decorations and all also. So thematic decoration of institute. So it was really nice.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it is really nice indeed to hear you today in a virtual medium. Thank you, Atulji, for a nice host always with uninterrupted session.
Gracious host.
A gracious host. And Arijit Da, for a lovely introduction of ma'am. You make me understand more about the ma'am, because I have studied a bit, but I have learned more about her today. And Indranil, always amazing work to connect this HR at 8 p.m. To keep on going on a regular basis. And we all advocate. It's now become a habit for all of us to be here at 8 p.m. every Friday. And so that...
Three cheers for Indranil.
3 cheers for the team, 3 cheers for Indranil, 3 cheers for Atul sir, 3 cheers for every person involved, because we are all passionately involved and are trying to thrive for the cause. Thank you one and all, and a good night.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Good night. All the best. God bless you. God bless you.